Hey, how is everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to Ranking the Albums of Led Zeppelin. Don't really need to give too much of an introduction to the group. They're pretty consistently known among musicians and music fans out there. This I'm just going to preface by saying is my rating. It's not anybody else's. Everybody's going to be different. I would imagine there'd be a little bit of similarities, but I'd love to know in the comments and below what your top nine are. I am including CODA as a studio album, as it is mostly recorded in the studios. It's just outtakes. But let's get underway. My least favorite Led Zeppelin album, coming in at number 9, is 1976's Presence. Um, I find this album to be the production on it to be pretty stark. It's quite a cold album. There's not a lot of depth and warmth to it, I find. A couple of my favorite songs on it are Achilles' Last Stand and T for One, but also notable songs on it would be And Nobody's Fault But Mine. Um, it's a decent album, but to me, it's kind of at the bottom because it's mostly just due to the production. And Hats Off for No One, Candy Store Rock are kind of weaker songs, but we'll leave it at that. Coming in at number 8 is their last official studio album, In Through the Outdoor. Now, the production on this album is much, much better. It's got a very warm feeling to it, which I really like. My favorite song off of it is Carouselambra, but also noticeable hits are In the Evening, Fool in the Rain, All My Loving. These songs are staples of FM radio, and I'm sure everybody's heard them. So coming at number 8, Into the Outdoor from 1979. Coming in at number 7 is their last official studio album, Quota. Again, a lot of people I think would probably put this at the bottom of the list. I think it offers a little bit more than Into the Outdoor and Presence. Even for just I Can't Quit You Baby, just alone is worth the admission of buying that album. It's a far better, superior version than on Led Zeppelin 1. I really enjoy Bonzo's Montreux on it, as well as Walter's Walk is a good song. Poor Tom is another good song. So check this one out. It's got some really good classic Zeppelin on it that otherwise didn't make the studio albums. All right, now we're getting into the meat and nitty gritty of the group. Coming at number 6, and a lot of people might be surprised by this, is 73's Houses of the Holy. Never been a real big fan of this album. I find it very inconsistent. The song remains the same song. I don't really need to hear again. It's okay. It's nothing special. The Rain song, though, is a great song, one of my personal favorites from it. No Quarter being the other top, one of my favorite songs on the album as well. Jamaica is okay. I don't mind the drumming in it, but it's kind of cheesy. The Ocean's okay. But the one song on this album that I wish they would have left off is the Crunge, or as I call it, the Cringe, because that's what it makes me feel like. But overall, I still say it's mediocre compared to the top 5, but that's where I'm going to put Houses of the Holy. Coming in at number 5 is my first introduction to the band, which was Led Zeppelin 2. Of course, everybody knows Whole Lot of Love, Ramble On. I mean, Thank Yous known. They play them on the radio consistently. You probably can't go too long without hearing one of them. What else to say about it? You know, my personal favorites off of this album are Thank You and Moby Dick. I think Moby Dick's a real neat drum solo that's nice and compact. It's not real big and long overwhelm. It's got a good groove to it. And I think John Bonham was pretty happy with it too. And yeah, that's really my introduction to Led Zeppelin. And these top 5 albums at any time can probably be put in orders except the number 1. Number 1 is always going to be number 1, and it's consistently going to be number 1. All right, coming in at number 4 we have Led Zeppelin 3. Now, this is certainly an album that I think a lot of people either like or they don't like. I mean, it's got a lot of acoustic on it, which at the time I think surprised a lot of their fans. But over the years, this is definitely the album that's grown the most on me. Um, Songs that I really like off of it are Immigrant Song, Since I've Been Loving You. It's just a brilliant, brilliant blues song. Tangerine's another great acoustic song, and so is That's the Way. Um, I find as I grow older, like I say, this album creeps up and up my list, and maybe one day it'll get further, but it's hard to say. I could see it maybe surpassing the next one, but probably not the second one. All right, coming in at number 3 is their debut album, Led Zeppelin 1, released in 1969. What to say about this album? It's got some supreme drumming from John Bonham. All the songs were written prior to Plant really writing lyrics. He's not credited with any lyric writing on this album. And it kind of shows. I don't think Jimmy Page is quite the best lyricist, but I guess he did all right. Good Times, Bad Times is a brilliant song. Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You is another personal favorite. Dazed and Confused on here is pretty good as well. Your Time Is Gonna Come, all great stuff. Definitely an album you should have in your collection. All right, coming in at number 2 is going to be Led Zeppelin 4. I know a lot of people are saying, Brent, this should be your number 1. Well, it's not for a reason. I've heard it too many times. Yes, I think it's probably better than the number 1, which is obviously going to be Physical Graffiti, but I don't want to hear Black Dog. I don't want to hear Rock and Roll. I don't want to hear Stairway to Heaven, Misty Mountain Hop. Again, I don't really need to hear them again. I know the merits of this album and how it shaped rock and roll and heavy metal for that matter. So that's why it's number 2. And of course, number 1 and always number 1 will be Physical Graffiti, released in 1975. Personal songs off of this that I like being favorites are In My Time of Dying, Kashmir, In the Light, Bron-Yar, Down by the Seaside, 10 Years Gone, and Wonton songs are just in my, 5 out of 5 songs. Nothing's remotely wrong with them. There's no filler except maybe the last song, Sick Again. I'm not that big of, but that's not enough to deter this album from going down the list. Yeah, so that's my list. I hope you'd enjoyed this video, and I look forward to doing more of this type of ranking the albums. Let me know what your thoughts are below on how you would rank the catalog of Led Zeppelin. Till we see each other in the next video, good night, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Good night. Bye-bye.